'Twas the night before the election of 2020, and no one was out stirring because they were in front of the TV. Welcome to the 2020 pre-election podcast. I am your ghostly host, Daryk Gansky, and this is the other day. Just kidding, I'm not going to have a podcast about the election. Everybody's going to be watching it. Everybody's going to be talking about it. So I'm not going to be one of those people because I think about different things. And that is what I'm here doing today. I hope you're doing well. I just got off of a run. I'm in an apartment lighting a candle like a irresponsible apartment renter because candles are awesome. But I hope you are doing well. I just got off of a run, and I think I ran my best run ever. Again, it's Monday. It's the night before the 2020 election between Donald Trump and Joseph Biden, and we are awaiting the results tomorrow. But here we are, still putting in the work. It's 2020, and we just got after it with a really good run. On this run today, as of many runs that you've noticed, I have a tendency to think about certain subjects, or I get like a theme kind of going in my mind of what's been going on in my life. It's running for me is like a very meditative thing. It's a thing where I can get into a flow, and I really enjoy that flow state. I get very creative. I can think of different ideas, maybe it be for work, or maybe it be for a creative project like this, or maybe it's just thinking out how to handle a relationship. And typically I get in those flow states, and today what's weird is it takes about a mile and a half until I start really feeling that. So that mile and a half, that first starting, it's miserable, but once I get into it, it runs, pun intended, really well through my head. And today, my flow state thought that I kept having, that just kept popping up in my head was, it kind of based around a quote of a mentor of mine. And it's a real common kind of theme for a lot of people. And once you hear it, you'll realize it. But it's a very common theme, and I just want to bring it up and talk about it just to reiterate it one more time. Maybe I can say something in a different way to help you with it. But let's get to it. The theme that I was thinking of today is change, and I have a mentor that says that change is the only constant. Now, as a company, we use that phrase, that quote, that lesson, if you will, to help us adapt and move with different markets and different climates of advertising and publishing and things like that. But change is the only constant. First and foremost, let's take a step back. Here we are in 2020. Tomorrow is election night. And, we've had nothing but change this year. Starting back in March, the beginning of the pandemic, the closure of the American population and the economy has only sparked change, whether it be through media, through social media, through, economic layoffs and downturns and struggles, political struggles, and battles and disagreements. This year has just been full of change. And I think back to with that in mind, and with politics in mind, and that being the forefront of everybody's mind right now, in this particular moment, at least for me. It takes me back to, you remember Obama had his campaign was change, and he kind of ran with that after the Bush administration. And so just kind of an odd thing to think about in a time like this, before before an election night. Maybe not. Maybe it is something that a lot of people are looking forward to. But there's a lot of feelings around change. And I say that because I feel different things about different changes. For example, if my life changes in a positive direction, like I get awarded, or I get something in return for something that I've done, or something that's happened to me, or something positive happens to me. That's a change. Like anything that happens is a change. Like, whether it be positive or negative, it makes me feel a certain way. So if it's positive, obviously, I'm going to feel more positive. Or I could kind of feel a little bit negative because I feel like I have more responsibility to continue that positivity. And that's something I talked about in a recent podcast with being a responsibility-based reward. So looking at your rewards as continuing the responsibility of achieving more and continuing that growth. But you could also look at change as a negative thing, and change as something that can cause issues, change in a way that something can continue negativity. And you can look at change in a way that, is unhealthy. There's a lot of things in our life right now that we look at as a negative change and a negative impact on our life. For example, the quarantine, or for example, the political environment that is in so much unrest. And we look at that change as a negative thing. And I'm not here to sit here and continue on and say that I'm going to give you the glass half full kind of argument and steer this in the right direction and be a voice of reason or whatnot. No, I'm here to bring up my thoughts because I want you to sit back right now and really, really think about what you're going to do or how you're going to feel about change. Because right now in your life and in everybody's life across the entire planet, change is not stopping. Change is continually going to happen, and it's just going to be a factor for the next day, the next minute, the next hour, the next year, the next 5 years, the next decade, till you retire, after retirement, till you die. It's constantly going to change. You're not going to stop. So what are you going to do about it? I've been hearing so much about change affecting people in a negative way, and it bothers me. It bothers me, one, because it's okay to have a negative change happen in your life and for you to take it negatively. That's okay. That happens to everybody. Everybody has been in that situation. But not learning from that negative change is going to take you down a spiral, and it's going to cause problems. And so what I want you to think about is I want you to think about how you're going to handle change in the next year, in the next, whatever amount of time, how you're going to handle this change. Because tomorrow, no matter what happens with the election, no matter who takes a seat in the Oval Office, change is going to happen. There's going to be something different happen. And it's going to shift a lot of people. And how you react to that is going to say a lot about who you are. It's going to say a lot about who you hang out with is. It's going to say a lot about the world. And frankly, I'm really excited. I'm really excited because if I know one thing about you, and I know one thing about me, and I know one thing about the people that I know, it's that the sun comes back up tomorrow and we wake back up. And when we wake back up, we typically go do something. And that's just it. We're just a group of people that just wake up and we go do something. And whether, it could be positive or it could be negative, we're continually changing. And I can tell you that tomorrow isn't going to look the same as the next day and the day after that, or a year after that, or 10 years after that. But the sun's going to come back up because the election, the pandemic, that didn't stop the sun from being there and burning, the earth from spinning and moving and orbiting around the sun, and God's grace shining down on us. So, I know that is a little bit. We got a little bit heavy really quick, but there's a lot going on, folks. And excuse me, there's a lot going on, and I think it's important to take note of this change. Like, a lot of people right now are saying, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. I can't wait for this pandemic to be over. I can't wait for this election season to be done with. And frankly, I'm right there with you, but I also disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is because we are learning things right now, and the world is doing things right now that have never happened before, that have never, ever we have had to deal with. We've never had to deal with such a media-charged, social, environmented election. We've never had to deal with a pandemic during that said election where everybody in the world was shut down and closed down and put on high alert of each other, to the point to where we each and every one of us was supposed to stay away from each other. And then on top of that, just the fact that the unrest that those two things have created have only just stacked the odds against us, because of the ultimate match against mental health and just staying healthy people and being active and continuing to grow together when we're forced to be apart. And so it is unprecedented the time that we're in, and I'm harping on it, yes, and I'm sorry that I'm bringing it back up, but I just wanted you to think about it in a different way, that the world is so different right now that why are we not excited to be taking apart this world and making it what we want it to be for ourselves? Why are we not out there forming this broken piece of society into something beautiful or something artistic or something creative or something strong or organized? We're missing something here that's, I think we're missing something here that's bigger than ourselves. And it's really honestly it's pretty bothering that we're just sitting back and not letting change. We're just sitting back and not taking advantage of change right now. The change that we could be having over the world is pretty sad. A lot of people aren't really doing anything, and when I say doing something, and I'm not saying doing something in particular. Everybody has their social causes that they are battling for. You've heard me harp on conservationism and improving the environment for white-tailed deer and wild game and hunting and fishing in our great outdoors. But and I'll harp on it all day long. But why are we not doing something to better us? We're doing something to better everything else, but us. Isn't our reality, isn't our world based on how we feel about it? Like, we're missing that change. We're missing that productivity. And so that's just to summarize a little bit. Here we sit, the night before the election, the week after Halloween. We are headed into November, first week in November, and it's Monday, and it's a Monday of all Mondays right now. The night before the election, and all through the house, people were inside because it's quarantine. And nobody was scurried about because they were behind a TV. Because it's quarantine. So think about that, folks. Think about change. Think about what you're doing to make it positive. You got a chance right now. You got a broken chance right now to go do something, and nobody's doing anything with it. So what are you going to do about it? Who are you going to tell about it? And just what's it going to look like? Maybe tell somebody about it and see if that thing comes from the universe and starts talking to you and starts put it out in the universe and see what happens. See if it comes to fruition. See if it grows. See if it mutates or makes a different form. But again, just keep following that change. It's never going to end. I think that everybody is so baffled right now about how crazy 2020 is, and to be honest, it's something that we've been doing our whole lives. It's change. Every single day is crazy and ridiculous, and something happens every single day that we never can fathom is going to happen. Like, you never ever realize what another day is going to be like. You can't predict that stuff. It's so crazy and so beautiful. And so go check out that change. Go see what it's all about, and go take advantage of it. Be safe, folks. This is going to be a time of ultimate change, and how people handle that change is going to affect a lot of folks. Or how they are affected by a realization is going to affect them very differently than maybe you. So be safe. Call somebody, and just talk to them and say, hey, the world's changing. I don't know what the heck's going on. What do you think's going on? And just talk about it. Call somebody and just talk about it. And if you can't call somebody, but you can see somebody, go give somebody a hug. When's the last time you've walked up to somebody and just given them a real tight hug and just say, you know what, I appreciate you, and whatever you've been going through, I appreciate it, and I want to hear about it, and I'm here for you if you want to talk about it. And so do that for somebody, because everybody's changing and everything's happening and nobody knows what the heck's happening. So take advantage of that change, because it's just going to be different. And if we're not changing together, then we're not changing at all. So let's go be the change. Let's go make some change. Let's put some change in our pocket. How about it? But thank you again for listening to The Other Day. I'm your host, Daryk Gansky. The night before election 2020. Y'all be safe, folks. I'll see you soon. Bye.